If you are a romantically minded person who is struggling with rejection quite often, and that rejection is intense, and sometimes this rejection makes you just want to cry, and you can last up to a whole year just thinking about the trauma. I am the type of person who wants to be able to create content and help you overcome that trauma and attract an empathetic and long-term relationship. If that doesn't sound crystal clear to anyone, then I don't know what does, because I've struggled to come up with this elevator pitch for years. I was literally struggling for years to come up with this exact term, and you might see this dotted in my profile bio now, because this is a goal. This is a thing that I never thought I would feel so relieved over finally getting this done. It took me 2 years or more to come up with that elevator pitch. Let me read you my notes as to why this pitch is relevant to you if you're the type of person who has had this struggle where you've been constantly rejected and you're romantically minded. I know I'm a very romantically minded person. I am extremely romantic. I've also been a bit of a narcissist in my own history, but not by definition. It's just human tendencies. So I've had to grow my empathy. I've had to learn a lot on how to become more self-aware. I've had to learn a lot on how to become more flexible instead of fixed. And I know what it's like to personally feel a lot of rejection, like so much that it hurts, it kills. And I'm not just talking about where you rock up to someone and they say no to you because you've asked for the number and I'm talking like serious rejection, like you as a human being have been thrown aside. And I want to say here that in terms of rejection, I can't guarantee that by working with me, by watching my content, that you're going to get less rejected, because rejection is a natural occurring thing. But what I can help you do, and I myself am trying to improve in this area as well, this is an ongoing project myself, I can help transfer the skill of coming to terms with rejection, accepting rejection as a part of human nature, changing the way we feel about rejection. And in terms of attraction, right, which we could just replace with the word manifestation or cultivation, I've personally achieved the results I was looking for, despite constantly suffering trying to understand the mechanics behind attraction and manifestation. Like, I understand more mechanics than I ever did. But back then, or just at any point back in my early history, I didn't know a lot, and now I do. And because of a lot of my own personal experience, I'm able to reverse engineer my own personal success stories and struggles. And my struggles have led me to continue to be able to grow. Like it feels like crawling through glass. It has felt like crawling through glass just to get to this point where I can now, with much more crystal clear clarity, define my elevator pitch. Now, to you, that might not seem like a big deal, but to me, that is a massive big deal, because it helps me moving forward with the creation of all kinds of content and things like this, and it also helps whoever my customers are and potential viewers. And if you want to take something away from this video, is crystal clear clarity is probably one of the number one things we should be doing, aiming for in our daily life moving forward. I have a gratitude journal here, and I wanted to appreciate some of the things I've struggled to learn for a long time. And let me list those out to you real quick. And the reason I'm reading this out is so that I can actually write down crystal clear clarity as part of this. But I am grateful for being empathetic, self-aware, emotionally intelligent, radically accountable, unconditionally regarding, discerning, and I'm not going to read the rest out, but those are the big ones. And I'm going to write down here, crystal clear clarity is one of the most important ones on this list that I would actually have to write down. And the reason we want crystal clear effing clarity is because, let's say you want to manifest something, right? You want to manifest some type of reality, some type of outcome, whatever. I came upon a realization one time when I was purchasing a cabinet. And when I purchased this cabinet, I realized that it was a no-brainer as to why this cabinet came into my life. Yes, it's an inanimate object. It's not the same thing as a human being, right? Full of emotions or whatnot. But I found very interesting is that I was crystal clear to the T as to the color, design, smell, measurements, everything about this cabinet. I knew everything about the cabinet inside and out before I even had the cabinet. And the same thing goes for other visualizations I've had in the past. You know, I once had a car where I repainted the whole car and the interior, and I could feel the car, I could sit in the car, I could smell the toxic chemical of the paint. I was really there, and it came into fruition. Obviously, action is what got me there, but I chose to bring into fruition this visualization, this imagination, and it was very clear to me about what this would look like. That's just one random example I just decided to chuck in there. The cabinet to me was the real deal breaker. I was able to compare, okay, if I wanted to attract a certain party towards me, or if I wanted to achieve some other type of outcome, it's going to be 100,000 times easier when you are 100% crystal clear on the specifics. Let's say you want to, manifest money, You want to be free. This is one that was personal to me too. When you become free, you remove yourself of obligations and things like this. You might think that removing yourself from obligations and being free, etc., means you're rich, but it actually means you're kind of a homeless person, because a homeless person is free. They're not obliged to commit to any financial obligations. And for some time, I was actually homeless. I was actually homeless on a couple of occasions. I made a video about a couple of months ago saying that a relationship is like booking a hotel room. It was a really weird analogy that I came up with, but the idea was the same. Is even this apartment here, I visualized to the T exactly where I was going to be, when I was going to be, why I was going to be, what the room looked like, the kitchen, the amenities, what the life would be like in the area that I moved to. I had a fairly clear idea of what was going to happen. So a relationship and attracting your partner needs to be the same. And I'm not saying this as a further initiation of my elevator pitch. I'm actually telling you this is what I personally aim to do. We want to be as crystal clear specific as possible. So generally people have a vague idea. The problem is the vagueness. Vagueness equals vague results. Uncertainty brings about uncertain results. So clear thinking, a clear mind, a safe mind brings about clear results, safe results. Now, vaguely speaking, people have a rough idea what they kind of want. They want a partner, generally of the opposite sex. Let's go with my preferences. You don't want them to smoke. You don't want them to have tattoos. You want them to probably have the same skin color as you. You want them to have nice long hair. You want them to have nice facial features and a good wine glass body or something weird like that, hourglass body. And maybe they like cats. So these are good surface level ideas of what we want. But if we can be very crystal clear into the deeper specifics, we're going to more than likely bring about the thing that we're looking for. So, if I had to say which of the best skills that I would need to transfer or to help you gain would be crystal clear clarity among everything else. So you can almost throw emotional intelligence out the window. You can almost throw radical accountability out the window. You can almost throw unconditional regard out the window. You could throw self-awareness out the window. You could throw empathy out the window. Because with crystal clear clarity, you could almost be able to identify all of those things in which you lack or need to work on. Because you could potentially be someone who gives out unconditional regard like me. But that can backfire. You could be radically accountable, but still not see the results. You could be emotionally intelligent, but still be trodden on. You could be self-aware, but still be neglected. And so crystal clear clarity is the way to go.